This is how to make a yalekhta for your big fat Assyrian wedding. And we're gonna go through the basics of crocheting today.
All right, here's what you're gonna need. You're gonna need a crochet thread. This is a size 10 jumbo thread that I bought, and it worked pretty well for white ones. You need some sort of fabric. If you buy your own, you are gonna have to hem the edges. A lot of Assyrian stores will have like pre-made ones that you can buy, which is really nice. You're also going to need a crochet hook. A size 10 or smaller works, but 10 I find the easiest to grab this thread, and then also to be able to put it through the sequins. And the last thing you're going to need are sequins. These larger ones are 40 mm. I know they come in different sizes. This is what I had. I also have some of these 20 mm, and then I'll show you the middle one on there that's white. That is 30 mm. And then I also like to have a ruler. It helps me plan out the yalekhta. And then before I start anything else, I like to plan out where I'm going to be attaching each length of chain that I'm crocheting onto this yalekhta. And I just use a tailor's chalk to do it. And before we start, let's go through the basics of making chains by crocheting. The first thing you have to do is make a slip knot. We're gonna cross this thread over each other, and then we're gonna pull that longer end through the hole all the way until it's tight. And this is how you create a slip knot to start making chains. And when you pull one end, not the short one, the other end, it should pull up and get tighter. And then if you pull both ends, it should come apart. Now we're gonna make some chains. So you're gonna put your crochet hook through that slip knot and pull it taut to it. And then when you hold your hook, I like to do 3 fingers on top and then the bottom fingers for support. And you can play around. People hold these differently. Now you're going to want to wrap the thread around your hand, and you can play around with this. I like to go over my pinky and then over the other one and up through the top. And you're going to want to hold your index finger straight. This is going to help create tension. You also want to hold the small tail with your thumb and middle finger. So again, it's going through my pinky, over my ring finger, and over my index. And I'm going to loop the thread around the crochet hook top and pull it through to the bottom. And this is how you create chains. We're going to be counting these and using them to make lines on the actual yalekhta. Now that you've practiced that a bit, we can make a new slip knot and put our crochet hook through the top again. And now what we're going to do is we're going to attach this to our fabric so we can start making a yalekhta. So all you're going to do is find the corner and you're going to put this through the fabric, and it should go in if you're using a lightweight fabric. And then you're going to make your chain so that it goes through the slip knot and is attached to the fabric itself. And so what we've done here is we've started our chain attached directly to the fabric, and you're just going to keep looping through. And you're going to want to count how many chains you're making. In this case, I decided I was going to do 14 chains across the 2 inches. So I have to find my middle point, which would be at 7, and stop there. And I can start inserting the sequin at 7 chains and then do another 7 once it's attached. And to attach the sequin, all you're going to do is push the crochet hook through the hole and then make a chain through the actual sequin itself. And again, this just attaches it to it. And now we can continue making chains because you can see this is sturdy, it is attached. And I'm going to count another 7 chains. And once I've completed the other 7 chains, I'm going to look at my fabric and see where I marked out my first point. And that is where I'm going to attach this again, just by pushing the crochet hook through and then doing the same thing of looping it around the crochet hook and pulling it through the previous chain. And now I have made my first section. So you guys, you're just going to keep continuing this process until you have gone all the way around the 4 sides of your fabric. And you can play around with this and realize that it is really simple to just keep making layers and coming up with something more complex than just one single row. Now, when you've finished all 4 sides, you're going to want to pull through your last chain as you normally would. And then instead of continuing, you're going to cut your string, and then you're going to pull your crochet hook out of it, and you're going to pull that string all the way through to end your crocheting. And then what I do is I also make an additional knot by just tying that end around one of the loops just to make it extra secure. I know it should be fine without this, but I like to do it anyways. And then I'm just pulling to make sure it is on there well. And there you go. Now you know how to crochet to make a basic yalekhta. And this is the first one I've ever made. I just did 2 rows. And you guys, if I can do it, anyone else can. So you can all get ready for your big fat Assyrian weddings. Bye.